Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, traders. Welcome to the opening bell. I'm Ashley Reeve, and it's good to be with you. Before we get going with this new week, remember the information we discuss in the video is opinion and should not be construed as advice in any way. So let's get on with it. It's the 11th of May. All right. New trading week. Let's do a little bit of market review here for the guys. Sam, I see you there. Jules, good morning to you guys. Yeah. Cold one here, where I'm seated. Really cold one here. Sun is out, but, it's got that icy touch to it. So does the markets this morning. So obviously, yes, we're starting the new week focused on almost entirely the escalating US-Iran situation. After negotiations appeared to break down over the weekend. So what happened, right? Last week, there was a lot of optimism that the US and Iran were moving toward a temporary peace framework. And, reportedly built around that 14-point memorandum, which we mentioned last week. Don't forget, it proposed a deal that included the reduced conflict in the region, the reopening of the strait, the limits on Iran's uranium enrichment, potential sanctions relief, and obviously the possible transfer of some of that enriched uranium. However, the biggest disagreement we're seeing now remained Iran's nuclear program, and it is reportedly wanted from the U.S. that there should be some long-term limits of the uranium enrichment. They're calling for removal of highly enriched uranium and stronger nuclear restrictions. And Iran reportedly refused to fully dismantle their nuclear facilities, guys. And they refused to completely surrender their capability in the enrichment. And obviously, they're refusing to give up all control of the uranium stockpile. So instead, and we'll be looking at the charts, in a minute or so, but just some fundamentals this morning. Instead, Iran offered to dilute some of the uranium. They offered possibly to transfer part of the stockpile to another country, but keep its nuclear infrastructure intact. And no confirmed transfer of uranium is publicly taking place yet. But Trump now, on the other hand, rejects the response. All right. So over the weekend, Donald Trump publicly rejected the response, calling it totally unacceptable. And that sharply reduced the hopes for a quick solution, a diplomatic solution at that. So at the same time, guys, we're seeing the Middle East conflict is remaining active. The strait still remains effectively disrupted, and obviously the oil supply fears have intensified again. Twister, I see you there. Tato, I see you there. Good morning. So at this point, guys, what is the market impact? We're seeing that the oil surged again. Let's go to the charts now. The oil surged, again. It went up to roughly around $103 per barrel from last week's 97. So strong, created a gap. We're not saying that it can't be closed today. It could possibly. But again, it is the commodities. And when it comes to the market structure, when you're building commodities, it's more like the oceanic waves, and this can become a little bit of a problem. So it may just push up again before coming down. All right. So obviously traders, they fear the supply disruptions. The region is handling, you guys, as you know or should know by now, the strait handles a major portion of global oil shipments, and obviously the ongoing conflict always raises and has been raising the risks of the prolonged energy shortages. Meanwhile, the US dollar strengthened, guys. You can see that on the gold price here. It strengthened this morning. Traders obviously moved back into safe haven assets. The geopolitical uncertainty has weighed down this morning. You can see the gold price coming down there. Stronger than expected US jobs data last week also is a factor, and obviously the expectation of the Federal Reserve is going to keep those interest rates higher for longer. That's what we're dealing with. Obviously tomorrow, it being the CPI inflationary report, we're going to see what's happening there. So what's the trader focus here this morning, Ash? Well, US inflation data tomorrow. It's extremely important. The rising oil prices could push inflation higher again. And obviously, we're seeing other things like the USD JPY. We're seeing that it weakened despite the global tensions. So normally the yen acts as a safe haven, but rising oil prices hurt hurt the Japanese economy heavily because it imports most of its energy. And so you're seeing it moving up this morning here on the 1 hour. You can see it right there. So we're going to see if it's sustained. Traders also remain cautious after the suspected Japanese currency intervention, and we're seeing that it's really remaining quite sensitive to the Tokyo headlines. That's the USD JPY. Check out the Euro USD this morning as well. We're anticipating if the oil price continues to push up this morning and today, we're anticipating it to push down to the 1.17. It's already created a low. We have retested that low, so we consolidating right now. We could just go up one more time and then come down, or if it breaks these two lows here, which is the Asian low, the trading session Asia, Tokyo session, we could be pushing down to that 1.17. All right, a little bit more detail on the gold price, guys. If you look at the daily, you're seeing that obviously we've come off from a high of last month, April, and this is now a lower high here in May. So will this lower high be sustained? If the oil price continues to surge, we're going to see the lower high sustained. We're seeing quite a bit of divergence happening as well. Highest point right over there, and we're seeing some higher points, 1 and 2 above. However, the strength of the gold price has diminished. All right, and we're looking at a couple of days now. So that's today, that's Friday, last week Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday. So from last week Wednesday up until now, that may look like strength, but actually it's diminished. The sellers have come in here, and it's coming off the back of the US job data. All right, so we're seeing a sustaining move here to the downside to 4586. Technically here, fundamentals is supporting it. Political factors are supporting it right now. Geopolitics is supporting it today or this morning. We're just looking to see whether it will be sustained. There are gaps this morning because of that oil surge. All right, so we might just push up again, and then we push down. All right, so please watch these very carefully. Obviously, you guys know we're streaming the CPI tomorrow, myself and T, so make sure you stay tuned. It will be via YouTube, just like you caught us on NFP. Catch us back on CPI tomorrow as well. All right, but guys, this morning, clean, clear, cut. That's what we're doing. We're looking at the market a little bit more holistically today, and then obviously we start to zoom in. So tomorrow, the core CPI at 2:30, we'll be streaming that via YouTube. Just to give you information on that, the CPI at this point is at 0.3%. That's the core CPI. The month-on-month is at 0.6%, and the CPI year-on-year is at 3.7%. That's the forecast. We're going to see if it is, if it's gone up, if it's remained the same or not. But the year-on-year is definitely forecasted to be a little bit higher, as well as the month-on-month, because of what we're dealing with in the Middle East. All right, I'm referring to the core CPI now. All right, it's forecasted to be at 0.3%, coming from a previous 0.2%. So we're going to see. Please stay tuned. Get in with us. We're looking for opportunities. I'll be mentioning this to you this morning and reiterating on the fact that we are looking at short-term sprints at this point, because we're seeing that the Middle East still has tension. All right, we're not looking at anything long-term at this moment in time. And when I say long-term, guys, if I switch on the monthly and the weekly frame of the S&P of the US 30, you can see it right here. Long-term, we're still seeing the US 30 push to the upside, but that's not what we're dealing with right now. You can see there's a lot of fluctuation taking place, and a lot of divergence. So we're still seeing, the price come down before it actually goes up. All right, and that is all thanks to the Middle East. All right, but we'll see you guys tomorrow. Update with T with the opening bell, and then obviously we'll be going live, him and myself, at 2:00 for the CPI stream. We'll see you guys then. And if you've not opened up an account with us, guys, very easy, www.tdmarkets.com. You can also email us at care@tdmarkets.com. Very, very easy to do. Our super support team is standing by. If you have any queries, if you're already a TD family member, make sure that you reach out to them. You should have your dedicated account manager. If you're unsure about who that is, our support team, they can help you as well. We have tons of students that come back, to us at some point. Maybe they were off, dealing with some some issues, some personal things, and maybe they switched jobs, even regions. They move and then they come back because of the great support that we have here at TD Markets. All right, and if you're one of them and you'd like to come back and find out who your account manager is, maybe it slipped your mind, or your email, all right, your email inbox, our support team is there for you. We'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one. It's Ashley Reeve here this morning with the opening bell, streaming live from Johannesburg, Sanson. What a pleasure. What a blessing being with you guys here this morning. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.